Hey guys, it's MJ. Do you want a tank that hits like Ray Rice? Well, do I have a tank for you? Introducing the Object 268, also known as the Bushwanker or the Griefer, whichever nickname you prefer. With the ever increasing demand of hit points in this game due to greeners finding a way to die within the first minute of the battle, DPM and alpha damage have become even more important than ever to counter the YOLOing apes called Blitz players. That's where the 268 comes in. A tank destroyer that counters retards by embracing retardation. Today I'll show you just how effective and fun the 268 can be. Alright, let's talk about the 268 and why it's just so relevant in update 10.3. The main and simple answer of this is the fact that its gun got mega buffed, along with the fact that it's keeping its speed that it got back in update 9.1, and the characteristic of this tank that's been with it since its inception back in 2015. It's the fact that it has the best in-class camo rating out of all tier 10 TDs. And you're going to see this, you're going to see that this game especially, just because we're going to maintain our position the entire game here, and with relative confidence that we're not going to get spotted. The main thing with the 268 that got buffed was just its gun. Its gun got massively buffed, and you're going to see it here. And boom, 776 damage. In case you weren't aware, its alpha got buffed from 670 to 690, so you're going to be high rolling people with AP for 850 if you max roll. That's absolutely insane. And along with that, the alpha buff, it also got an accuracy and aim time buff, just making this tank a lot more reliable than it used to be with its gun. Back in 2016, 2017 days, it was about 0.3 base dispersion, and then it also had 640 alpha. When it got 670 alpha, it was nerfed drastically, and now we're seeing it back to what it used to be, which is a 0.3 dispersion, but with 690 alpha. That is a massive, massive buff for this tank overall. Along with the fact that its mobility was not nerfed in update 10.3, this tank just zips around the map, along with having such high camo rating. We weren't spotted there until we took that shot, and even then we weren't spotted because the Foch's viewport wasn't in sight. So relatively, we stay in the same position the entire game, but it's just the very simple nature of this tank to just, poke a bush, shoot, back up once spotted. It just makes this tank very easy to play, and it's a tank that I recommend to anybody that wants to try to play tank destroyers, just because it's a very simple tank. You poke, you shoot, and it has very forgiving armor. That's another thing that I want to talk about. The armor was nerfed in update 10.3, but if you look at it in detail, the armor really hasn't changed since its non-PBR days. PBR drastically buffed this tank's armor profile to the point where most tanks couldn't pen it with normal AP rounds, but now they nerfed it back to what it was when it didn't have PBR. So realistically, nothing has really changed about this tank. It still gets very jank bounces. The main thing is, as long as you adhere to the simple rules of Blitz, which is mainly just resetting camo, bush mechanics, as long as you adhere to those two things, damage for distance is another one, you'll be completely fine in this tank. So it's just very simple like that. We poke, we do 700 to the yo, and without even batting an eye, we're pulling back once we fire that shot. And it's better to be safe than sorry with camo rating, because obviously, yeah, sure, we have the best in-class camo, but once we shoot, chances of us being unspotted, very unlikely. So it's better to be safe than sorry in situations like that. Take your shot back into cover so that you maintain as much hit points as possible throughout the entirety of the game. So, for example, if this was a closer game, having 1200 hit points at the end of the game probably would have been helpful. If we sat in that bush even when spotted, we're taking a couple extra shots there. We're probably down to 500 HP or something along the lines, and that's not nearly as much HP as 1200 to get the job done. So you're going to see that a little bit more in the next game with just, peekaboom playstyle, resetting your camo, and damage for distance, because in the next game we're on Canyon, and we're going to be a lot more aggressive in the 268. But we're still going to use the same things that we use this game, just at a different distance. Alright, next map, Canyon, as I said, we're on North Spawn, so that matters a lot actually, because there's a lot of maps in Blitz where, depending on the spawn you get, really determines on where I, as a player, am going to position myself, regardless of the tank. So, Canyon, obviously, there's always somebody that goes mid hill, especially on this side of the map. North spawn, I despise going mid hill because it's very easy to counter. As you can see right there, Object 140 gets nuked probably by a TD. So, generally speaking, regardless of what tank I'm in, I'm going seaside all day on this map. So right here, you're going to see me play very aggressive, almost into the cap of C. And the reason for that is because I want to spot whatever's coming this way as early as possible, so I can probably get, an initial shot in and have time to get a reload off before they, start pressuring me. So right there, you saw we nuked the 50B for about 740, and he's going to YOLO in, and we're going to set up an HE shot. We're going to get an HE shot, and our I7 clears him. If I waited for that 50B to get here, then shoot, he would have probably got a full clip into me, and obviously that's not a positive elixir trade, which is why I wanted to spot that lane as quick as possible. So right here, we're going to use the same principle we did last game, where we're going to go into a bush to try to maximize our camo value, shoot, once we're spotted, back up, reset camo, and re-engage the target. So right here, 60 TP is going to be staring at that bush, so obviously I'm not going to poke that because, I don't want to give him the free damage, and we'll probably get spotted at this range. So the I7 shoots the 60 TP. We're going to go pop up for a shot. Unfortunately, the gun trolls us, but no need to worry. We're just going to back up, reload. We didn't lose any HP off of that, so I'm not really too annoyed about that. Right here, I look across the map, just making sure nothing's in mid, because if you didn't know, the position I'm poking right now, meds in mid can hit you, so it's important to, be positionally aware with any tank that you're in, but most importantly with tanks that only have 1800 HP, so your meds, your TDs, and so on. Right here, you're going to see me, I noticed the VZ, he's coming up this way on this ramp, so I'm going to position my armor so that only one side of my pike nose is showing, and it's the pike nose side that is an auto bounce. So we're going to get a shot in, we're going to back up, and right there, easy auto bounce. Regardless of what round he was shooting, that was going to be an auto bounce. So that's an easy way of just, we're maximizing our HP, right? We don't take a shot, and we're able to dish out damage. And right here, we're going to get another shot into the VZ. So right off, just think of it this way, we were able to trade almost 1300 HP off of that VZ for not taking a single shot. And it's being able to, play this game where you're getting shots out, you're dishing out damage, and you're not taking any damage in return. And right there, another, we basically cleared that VZ completely without taking a shot. As long as you know what tank you're playing and you know how to use its armor effectively, the 268 isn't like an E3 where you can just brain dead sit in front of a tank and just, for lack of a better term, hope that he doesn't pen you. The 268, as long as you're adhering to the basic principles of Blitz, right? Camo reset, and then also, backing up after you shoot, honestly, you'll be completely fine. It's a very simple tank to grasp, and with the changes that this tank got, it really just highlights how effective a TD can still be in Blitz without, frontlining like a Minotauro E3. And like I said, that's the 268 for you, for lack of a better term. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what tanks you want to see in the future. Update 10.3 has provided us with a plethora of different changes to all the tier 10 tanks. So there's obviously a lot of content to cover. But without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.